Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again after a while to the one and only Imperial glory. We left off on a little bit of a cliffhanger last time where war with Russia is imminent, and I was debating whether to wait a while to try and get some diplomatic points with the Papal States to diplomatically annex them, but I mean, the thing is, technically right now there are only 4 sort of players left right now, which is me, the Papal States, Lombardy and Russia itself, because they have Sweden, Poland and Moldavia under their control. So really, diplomacy isn't really worth it right now, I think, because we've got Lombardy's pretty much undefended with the exception of what they've got in their garrison, which I would expect to be either militia or cannons, aka Howitzer. And the Papal States, yes, we could technically just build a cultural centre and diplomatically annex them, but 4 turns, I'd rather not wait 4 turns, because I want to get things going. And since diplomacy doesn't matter, I don't really think we need to worry about the whole diplomatic, quote-unquote, diplomatically declaring war. I think it's time that we just move right in, because we haven't seen a great deal of action in the last few episodes. It's time to get back to fighting. So, I'm thinking we can move straight into Russian territory with the newly promoted Field Marshal Wellington. We'll take care of the Russian fleet out in the water, because I've actually just realised that these are 2 separate provinces. Or maybe I realised before, but I think I did before. But Venus and Yaroslav are on their own. We've got 2 sloops, the St. Peter and the Pselabde, wherever that is, in the Black Sea. We can easily take care of those. So I'm thinking we just go in right now and not give them a chance to retaliate. Yes, I quite like the sound of that. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to move you into Poland since the Russians can't reach any of these provinces. Just make sure that Brandenburg is safe, because I really don't want to have to deal with Prussia again. And outside of that, because they're mostly fielding howitzers and light infantry. Not a great deal to worry about when we've got the likes of grenadiers and heavy cavalry. Plus, we're going to get military hospitals built in Anatolia and Hanover next turn, so we can quickly get these guys back up to full strength and move on to the Russians from the south, which I quite like the idea of. We've also got these guys in Denmark ready to move towards Sweden, and I think I'm just going to completely occupy those places. We've got a defensive alliance with the Papal State for the next 8 turns. But as soon as those expire, I'm probably just going to move straight in with Conquest. I don't know if I can train any more units. No, I can only train militia there because I never built anything else. What about here? I can train standard infantry. I might as well get some of those on the go just to stock up these guys, just to make sure that we can secure the conquest of the Papal States when I do. Although I've already got a cavalry, but it's always worth having a bit extra. And this might be a slightly short episode because I'm kind of pressed for time right now, but we'll see. Anyway, enough. In regards to that, enough time wasting. Russia, you're going down. Watch this plummet. Bloop. Yeah, and of course Lombardy follows suit, and our food consumption just skyrocketed. But now, Uxbridge. So Calder, you're actually going to see some proper conflict this time rather than just ferrying troops around. And these riflemen here that used to be light infantry stationed in England before I did the Simon Bolivar quest. Papal State only went down by 3 though. I expected to go down quite a bit more. I could try to build a cultural centre. I'm going to build one now, actually. Just in case. I can always cancel it if need be. Plus, I've got enough resources right now to keep me going for a while. So, Calder, time for you to see some action. And Uxbridge, you've got a heavy cavalry and infantry. You can move in. Paget, just stay there for the time being. You 3. Move up towards... I just realised there was a Russian sloop all the way up there in the Norwegian Sea. Sloop Alexander. Alexander the Great, eh? Not quite. So you're going to secure Denmark and then Sweden. Admittedly, that's just houses, there's no concern there. I wouldn't expect much to be in that garrison there. So as soon as I click next turn, there's going to be a lot of fighting going on. A lot of fighting indeed. So, to start off with, from the 1C, enemy vessels within sight. They failed to escape us. It's 3-on-1, not worth fighting myself. An instant victory, and no one took any damage. Maybe they took a tiny bit, but... And the vehicle just gained a level. Excellent. And the Baltic Sea, enemy vessels within sight. They managed to escape the cowards. I thought we were done fighting the French. Here's the main one, though. Oh, 665 versus 309. And Captain Oloslov isn't going to be doing anything. He's just going to be standing there watching while we gun down the rest of the guys here. So, mostly like infantry with some cannons and militia. We could probably win this with just the cavalry as usual. I don't know, maybe we'll see if we can get the 12-pound cannons to be used, because they do outrange the Hausiters. We'll see. So, Poland, a disputed territory for many centuries, indeed. What are our objectives here? Even though the objectives never get done, it's always due to... The battlefield has many excellent defensive positions. Ah yes, I should have said. This is what I had the 12-pounder cannons for. To force them out of buildings. Right, let's line up the troops and get ready to rumble. So yeah, they've got 3 defensive buildings there, and I'm about to spawn behind those. So let's line these guys up and get ready to move. Right, so they're actually starting a lot further away than what I was expecting. I thought they were going to start around here so they could just quickly occupy the buildings, but no, they're all the way over here. So, So what's the range on the cannons? Quite a while. I don't think I'd actually need to go that far before we're actually in range. And in fact, if they leave the Hausiters behind, now the light infantry is just marching, but the Hausiters are quite vulnerable, so I can quickly take care of those with the cavalry. And the militia and light infantry, I could weaken them beforehand with the cannons. We'll have to see. The 12-pounders are nearly in range of the infantry already. This will be good. I've got some of my own grenadiers ready to move in behind as soon as possible, provided my men keep their formation. Alright, the cannons are limbered up and they're actually... just out of range. Although, if I open fire now, it should draw in. You guys break into a run. I want you to get into position quickly. So if I limit you guys up, and then open fire, will that draw them in? Oh, it hit them! Yeah, the cannons the rounds do skim along the ground a little bit. Oh, meet the power of 12-pounders. Alright, cease your fire. I actually want you guys to move up just a little bit further. Okay, don't run anymore. Oh, no, they're charging. Okay, limit. Stop. Damn it. Damn you, awful controls. Fire. And now you choose to miss. Oh, when you just hit my own guys. Really? They're moving towards you and now they start missing? Alright, stop firing. This didn't go as well as I'd hoped. Alright, form a square in front of the cannons. Protect them. Send in the cavalry. Alright, yeah, like I said before, just do this with the cavalry. I just completely annihilated them. My cavalry are quite highly experienced. And just deal with the recruits nice and easy. I said get in there. Come on. Alright, so we've taken some losses of the infantry, mainly because... Oh, Christ. Cannons are quite awkward. I specifically tried to line my men out in front, or beside the cannons, but unfortunately, partly my own fault, but I did fail to realise that a couple of my men just happened to be standing in front of the barrels of the guns. Oh well. They've lost a lot more than we have. That's for damn sure. And a nice quick easy clean kills on the cannons. Very nice, people. Poland will be ours. The enemy withdraws their forces. I don't think they had any left. I'm pretty sure we killed them all, unless that's the one captain who wasn't there, but he's no concern of ours. Don't risk any unnecessary casualties. So Poland is instantly ours with 15 losses. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Wellington. Blame who owned the Picton. I think he owned the cannon, so blame him. Right, honour or betrayal. Unfortunately, yeah, this is where Papal State's going to plummet. Let's occupy it. So yeah, Papal State's now lost 10 sympathy points. Even if we do build a cultural centre, it's not going to go well with them. It won't be enough to annex them, but I would auto-resolve this battle, except I know I'm going to take a couple of casualties which I could just avoid by sending in one unit of cavalry against these Hausaders. So I'm going to command it myself. So welcome to Lombardy, we're here to stay. Pathetic defenders indeed. I think this will be, what, the third time now that we've fought inside the territory with a garrison of just one unit of cannons. Yeah, it must be around the third. Don't bother showing us defensive positions or any of that jazz. Send in the horses. In fact, was it in Lombardy previously we were maybe securing it from the Prussians and they only have one unit of garrisons guarding it? Cannons guarding it? I don't know. By the way, these guys, they were just here having a relaxing day in Lombardy, trying to resecure their territory, and now they're seeing a big angry horde of English. Ooh, no! We lost a horse. Damn it. Alright, I'm pretty sure if it was an auto-resolve though, we would have lost at least a couple of men from several units, because that's how auto-resolve works. But those poor guys who are doing the good work protecting their country, they died for it. 1 to 3. One of the worst ratios. No, is it? I think in ratios that's pretty good, but whatever. We are now at war with Lombardy. Yeah, I noticed. As soon as I attacked Russia, and now they belong to us. Or they will do. The siege of Milan has begun. Right, we've plundered not a huge amount from Poland, a fair amount of population, but... here's what we wanted. Military hospitals. So now we can finally get these guys back into fighting shape without needing to train whole new units. And these guys especially. So let's get all of you at long last back up to fighting strength. So now we've got ourselves it lacks cavalry, which means that cannons and militia will be more of a problem to it than they are to my main force, but they're still enough to provide a threat. So we're going to move you guys. I'm going to need to keep an eye on the Russians because they can move right into Anatolia from Kursk. So if any of them move to Kursk, we'll probably have to... Hang on. Heavily wounded lancers, they won't be a problem. Light infantry. So here's where the lack of cavalry could be a problem. These guys will hold... I'll probably want to rely on the main force more than anything else. Oh, has this seen before? Captain Ulustov. He's now got a whole load of militia to his name. Not that's going to do you a great deal of good. Right, so the Papal States want a defensive alliance with them for 7 more turns, and annexation process 50% complete, no signs of rebellion. Wonderful. Is it really worth constructing anything in Poland? Military hospitals. You know, cancel. Yeah, that's enough. Cancel that cultural centre. It's of no use to us. Get the military hospitals instead in Poland. So if we need be, we can quickly pull back our troops to get some losses restored. Though we haven't taken much in the way of casualties. Like, as far as I'm... So the only way for them to get into Poland is through Minsk or to go through Galicia. So I think it should be safe enough for me to move my troops. If they do come back, I can always reconquer it quite easily. My main concern right now is to get rid of all of the Russian armies floating around, of which there are several, but they're not exactly that high. Despite it being around the mid stages of the game, they still haven't gone anything better than regular infantry. Have I seen anyone actually having the equivalent of Grenadier Guards? I don't think so. Either way, this would be a quite easy fight. I don't think these are the only two in there. So yeah, militia, light infantry, cannons. Easy. Let's go straight to the next turn and get these conquests over and done with. So, 650 against 306 in Minsk. I don't know if I've seen Minsk, whatever, on the battlefield before. So let's see what it looks like. A bitter morning, but time to face the enemy. The land is frozen indeed. Snow and ice. Englanders, British people, are no strangers to the cold. Admittedly, the Russians take the cold a lot better than a lot of other people, but the British are still no strangers to cold. In fact, is this one of the maps which actually has breakable ice? I don't know. I know in one of the custom battles you can destroy patches of ice with cannon fire. So we don't actually have to control any areas. Still, if they do occupy the church, it's no problem. That's why I bought cannons, and this time I'll be sure to keep my men away from the barrels of the cannons. Ooh. Right, so yes, the church appears to be the only defensible location in the area. Quite a large building, but they can only station one unit inside, and they've got just one unit of light infantry. Now the houses are quite exposed. Depending on how the cavalry does in getting there. I'm not sure if it's deliberate that they choose to just have one unit walking so they keep fairly in line with the cannons. But if I send the horses sprinting, eventually it will leave the main army without cavalry support. You know, actually, leave 3 horses behind, have 2 units of hussars, make a sprint straight for the houses. Right, so you guys are no doubt going to take a volley from the light infantry, but if you can deal with the cannons right off the bat, you know what, just kill the light infantry. I'm hoping that you'll be able to kill them before the recruits get to you. Oh dear. Right, this was a big mistake. This is a very big mistake. I just majorly screwed up, and I've just lost myself 2 units of horses. Whoops. I expected them to kill the recruits a lot quicker than that. I'm sorry. Oh dear. Well, they're still fighting. Ah, screw it. Send in the rest. I've just majorly messed this up. I mean, they're actually winning. They could actually carry this by themselves. They're actually doing this. They won on their own. Right, I didn't need the infantry or the 12-pounders at all, although I've lost a lot more horses than I would have otherwise. Note to self. Don't do that again. Just go straight for the cannons. Well, mistakes happen, and in this case, I still won the fight. Go horses! The power of cavalry, eh? Honestly, Moore's horses. They've won us more. They've pretty much won us most of the battles that we've been in so far. Right, the Baltic Sea. Let's see if they get away from us this. They failed to escape us. I'm sorry. Oh, it does say the names. Alright, victory. Show them how it's done and take down Venus. And again, hang on. Last time it was 3-on-1 and none of my ships took any damage. In this case, it was 1-on-4 and 2 of my ships took damage and victory. Why is it always victory that gets the worst of it? Do they just know that that's our flagship and therefore they're trying to go down gunning for it as much as they can? Gits! Alright, it's time for our Danish friends to... Oh, bloody hell. Oh dear. The one time I was wrong. This isn't going to be pleasant. Can light infantry do the square formation? I don't know if it's going to help much because they're light infantry and these guys are lancers. Of all the times that I was going to be wrong. Alright, Sweden. Let's go to it. We've got houses, so at least if they do take a defensive formation, we should be able to repel them, or at least encourage them to come out. Yep, the village. We'll have to bomb, just use cannon fire on the buildings. Right, so I've got my men lined up. Infantry ready to fire volleys in front alongside the houses. With the militia ready to... I can keep their cavalry occupied with my militia. But I don't know if the militia will be... don't think the militia will be able to win the fights by themselves. The thing is, even if we do win this battle, we'll probably take a lot of casualties and may not have enough to secure the siege. We'll have to see. They're actually moving a fair amount out of the village. They've got one unit occupying the buildings. The rest from... We do have a wall here that we could take advantage of. In fact, my men might be able to be in range. I'll have to wait until the cannons get into position and see if we can maybe fire... Yeah, the cannons will be in range of them. So... those guys are going to be in range of us though. Move you guys over this way. Those cannons can take a position here. Yep, they're firing on us. Ouch. 3 casualties. Come on, houses. In fact, you should be able to be... Okay, and... Oh, for goodness sake. What kind of range do you guys have? Open fire. We need to have the militia. Now you're going a bit further than I expected you would. Here come the horses. Form squares. It's our only hope. We're going to lose the cannons. Right, the militia. No, get back on the walls. Okay, go get... I'm not quite sure what's going on here. My guys are getting mulched. What are you doing? Stay on the walls, you fool! This isn't going too well. The Lancers are pretty much destroying my militia from the looks of things. We've lost one of our units of light infantry. We've got the guys here who are ouch. Those poor sods are being mulched. Yeah, the militia are not doing too well. Unfortunately, it's my turn to get destroyed by cavalry. We had superior numbers, but we're not winning this one. Form squares, and you just... I said forms... They just evacuated the building straight into the cavalry. It's not a building, it's a wall. Either way, I think it's safe to say that we've lost this fight. We'll have to take Sweden out using the main force. But we're not going to retreat though. We're not French, and unfortunately I didn't quick click the square formation button in time. That's my own fault. Why you still got a red icon above your head? Is it because you're trying to shoot over that wall? Well, we've taken out pretty much most of the cavalry at least. So at least in the future fight, we won't have to worry about them. And the cavalry is exhausted. Does that reduce their chances of breaking a square? We'll have to see. Hey, you resisted both of them. Well done. So now they just have one unit of light infantry, one Hauser, and these two. We're still going to lose this fight, but these guys are most likely going to put up a heroic final stand. Get rid of that red icon above your head. Form square. Even though they're out. Oh no, you're not going to form the square in time, are you? No, you didn't. I should have clicked it earlier. Fight to the end, people. England. Well, technically, you're not English troops, so it's not a huge loss on us. But you did well. You did well. Ish. Somewhat. 2 guys left, 1 guy. Mulched by horses. You took out one of that units of horses though, so... I think if my memory isn't the greatest, but this might be our first full defeat. Alas. 483 to 162. This is what it feels like to be on the other side. Well, at least we didn't take our first defeat to the French. Anyway, we've now secured Lombardy, which is excellent. We've gotten quite a good amount of resources there. In the meantime, with Lombardy ours, the Russians have moved their troops into Kursk. So, a more substantial force. So we're going to need to move these guys back. You three, we could go straight to Moscow itself, but I want to leave Moscow for last. Just so we can sort of finish this series by actually securing the empire, not just a simple capital of a neutral country. Or former neutral country. By the way, like I said, I don't have a huge amount of time, so I'm going to call an end to this episode here. Not on the best of terms, but we'll make up for that defeat. No doubt about that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this episode of Imperial Glory. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you again on the next episode where hopefully we will finally finish this and put an end to the Russians and secure the whole of Europe for the Great British Empire. Hope to see you then.